This year's UOAP perks have been released, and we talked to Seth Kubersky about the Bourne Stuntacular and Universal Orlando post-COVID reopening. You're listening to episode 407 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Well, I'm back. You've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
I've been out at sea. So I have returned, and of course, joining me, we have Tracy.
Hello, everyone.
And Lee.
Hello, everyone.
And Chris.
Ahoy, matey.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
You know,
I'm just, again, surprised it's Monday.
enjoying taking a break from life for a couple of hours.
Oh,
Yeah. Been
life.
out at sea for a month. Anything going on? Or
Not really.
okay.
No, same old.
Groundhog Day. Constantly.
There's a technical rehearsal going on,
Yes.
which I know we said in the intro we were supposed to be talking to Seth about, but it sounds like he got kicked out of it. So
They're like, oh, that's that Seth guy. Get him out of here.
I'm excited
Yes.
about it, though.
yes, me too.
Indeed. And you know what else we're excited about?
What's that?
Producers Club birthdays.
Woo!
Tracy.
Yes, we have Producers Club birthdays. And guess what? We have a belated one. Hey, it wouldn't be the same without one, would it?
She
Let's
wasn't
face
happy
it.
with me
no,
either.
No, she wasn't, and I don't blame her. Poor Claire Mallet, the lovely Claire Mallet, celebrated her birthday on the 3rd of June in tears because she didn't get her birthday read out in the show.
No, I think it's probably more celebrated in tears because now she's got 2 children to look at. Oh, sorry, 3.
I'll hit him for you, Stu. Don't worry. So yes, belated happy birthday, Claire. I hope you had a wonderful day, despite Lee forgetting.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And then, as it says here, the rest,
Yeah.
which probably means that it's not the rest. There'll be somebody missing. On the 27th of June, we have Brian Jennings' birthday. Happy birthday, Brian!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And then finally, on the 28th of June, it's Sean Hill's birthday. Happy birthday, Sean!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I will jump in.
Better
The
early than
Producers
late.
Club is open for anyone that wants to join. All you have to do is email us and we'll get in touch with you because we are already, there's quite a few already joining for next year. You get your birthday read out. There's
Sometimes.
Give Kids the World. We donate to Give Kids the World
do.
every year. And at the moment, that is a massive thing. We're actually, Tracy and I, we haven't talked to Darren and Chris about it
No,
yet, but
it's literally just been discussed.
something we're going to put in place as part of the Producers Club this year to try and donate a little bit more to Give Kids
Yeah.
the World.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, they need it right now.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
really,
they really
do
do.
need it right now. Plus bonus podcasts and merch and competitions and all sorts. It's
All
it's
sorts of stuff.
it's a huge
Lot of cool
big
stuff.
thing.
Yes.
It's awesome and we love our producers. So yeah,
We love everybody.
we do, but
We do.
our producers a little,
A little
bit
bit
more
more,
than everyone
yeah.
else.
Join the producers cult.
Yeah.
And we don't normally do this. But
Join the Producers
because it's a
Club, come
producers
buy our
club
love.
thing, but Mike Bragg did get in
One,
touch.
if you join in the next 24 hours, you'll get a set of Ginsu knives.
Mike Bragg got in touch and said my wife is turning 50 on June 23rd and a birthday wish would mean the world to her. So love and thanks from New Orleans. And I thought, it's a big birthday and he did ask. So
Oh, yeah.
happy birthday, Mike's wife. He didn't put a name in there.
Oh, happy birthday, Mrs. Mike. Mike's
Mrs. Mike,
better
happy
half.
birthday.
Definitely
Happy
Mike's better half. Happy birthday.
Our bill is in the mail.
Happy birthday.
I also think, Darren, didn't you say that you were going to do some exclusive podcast episodes for Producers Club this year in the middle of the ocean on your kayak? Did I hear it?
Yeah, ocean casts.
Yeah, there you go.
Newest
That'll be
thing.
cool, yeah.
Yes. Listen to me almost tip over. And,
With Luna just barking in the background.
yep. At fish jumping. Yes. So, it's a great time.
That sounds fun, actually.
It's us.
All right. Well, maybe I'll get on. But yeah, those are the perks for the UUOP. We can talk a little bit about the perks for the UOAP
Nice.
for this year. Yeah.
Ooh,
You're
sweet.
welcome.
It
So
was.
beginning back on June 8th and running through July 5th, AP holders will have a dedicated parking lane and security line. For exclusive parking and security access, look for signs marked with UOAP in the dedicated lane. Premier and preferred pass holders get prime self-parking.
Very nice.
Yes.
Now, I
very
wonder if they'll
good.
make other people back up if they're in that lane. Like, please put the magnet on the front of your car. Thank you.
Now, at the same time, AP holders will also have dedicated entrances. So available June 8th through July 5th. Enjoy more VIP treatment with UOAP turnstiles at both Universal's Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida.
Interesting they don't have it at Volcano Bay.
Yeah. It seems like they only give us these when they're either going to be completely useless, which was the last time we got them. I used it just for fun, and it took longer than the regular one.
Yeah.
It's like when quarantine was happening and gas was like 99 cents a gallon, but you couldn't drive anywhere.
Yeah.
This is exactly what it's like.
Yeah, or now you can do it when the only people there are pass holders, so it's going to be like
so
a mile-long line.
Yeah.
That's still awesome they give it to us. So
It is.
I'll
It's
take
cool.
it.
The free Coca-Cola Freestyle souvenir cups for pass holders. They're available June the 8th to July the 5th. Pass holders who purchase an entree with mobile food order in the official Universal Orlando Resort app will receive a free regular Coca-Cola Freestyle souvenir cup and one Coca-Cola Freestyle refill activation for the date of purchase. Premier and preferred discounts are not valid on this offer.
Hang on. So
on.
it's not free. It's free if you order some food, which everyone's going to, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're not just giving you one for nothing.
No.
No.
Yeah, it's still a pretty good. I'd take it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I always
And
use the freestyle cups.
Yeah.
And the premier and preferred discounts, by the way, I've heard that if you ask when you go pick up your food, they will give you the difference of your discount in cash.
Yes,
I don't know if
that's-
they're still going to do that for very long, but they're at least doing that for now.
Yeah, that's what I
they
heard
need
as
to
well,
just
Darren.
fix that system. Just add it into the system.
So
you
I
can
was
just do it from the beginning.
told that that's what they're doing. They're giving the cash difference while they are still working, trying to implement it into the app.
Yeah, it seems like something they would have done right off the bat.
You would think
Yeah.
so. It can't be that difficult.
Yeah. It's got to be like, I mean, because it has your ticket information in there. You can put it in. So, I mean, it should be able to check that
But
its database and see if it was active.
Coming from somebody who works constantly with applications, it is extremely easy to implement this. So
Yeah.
Universal, call me up.
Nice. And of course, monthly buttons.
Oh, yeah.
So home is where the heart is. Available starting June 8th, 2020 while supplies last. Welcome home, fam. Hello, fellow kids. This fan favorite is making a comeback, just like all of us. Our little way of saying, we missed you and it's great to see you again. Please come back in public before you probably should. Well, you can, of course, pick those up in the AP Lounge at Universal Studios Florida and at Toon Extra in Universal's Islands of Adventure. I've never actually done that. I got to do that next time because I've heard it's much less busy.
Yes.
During normal operating hours. One button per pass holder while supplies last, of course. And due to the temporary park closure, the UOAP button program was impacted. The previously announced April button has been delayed to August for pass holder appreciation days.
Okay.
Cool.
I do love the buttons. So I must
Yes, I
admit.
do. And the magnets.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, the new magnet's awesome too.
It is.
Yeah.
And merchant magnets, it's like we might go like make like a speed run through the place for it. I don't want to, but
I'm going to mail you my card. So go pick me one up too.
yeah.
So pass holders also get a free photo available June 8th through July 5th. Memorialize. Yeah, that's the word. Okay.
Big word.
Your long awaited return to the awesome with one free 8x10 print at the Dark Room in Universal Studios Florida next to the UOAP Lounge with a photo session.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Because they're quite fun, them, aren't they? We all have one.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
And see how it's
It's our
from here.
company photo,
Yep.
Those were the days.
right?
Oh,
Hard to believe that was just a few months ago.
I know,
I
it's
know.
frightening,
Feels like a
isn't it?
lifetime. So much has happened. Or not. At
Yeah.
the same time. Yeah. Also available starting June 8th, while supplies last, Universal Studios Florida is celebrating 30 years of blockbuster thrills since first opening on June 7th, 1990, with a new exclusive free pass holder magnet, and claim yours at UOAP Lounge or Toon Extra.
Like I say, that magnet it rivals the Horror Nights one from
It's-
last year, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Look at this, a merchandise offer for now through September 7th. If you spend $80 or more in one single transaction at select Universal Orlando owned and operated merchandise locations. I can think of several locations where I could do that. Phil Vault, probably the easiest. You'll receive a $20 discount to be used towards one future single purchase of $50 or more. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
You worked that out right. Yeah.
So you're effectively getting something for 50 that's worth $50 for 30 in the end.
Or
Yeah.
that bag that I really liked that was $80 was technically only $60.
No, because you've got to buy the bag for 80,
but
so you're not getting the discount until you buy something else. No, it doesn't work like that.
It does. Girls tell him it does.
There's all kinds of ways to justify this to yourself.
Oh, yeah.
There is.
UOAP Passport, Summer 2020 edition. So the UOAP Passport is your quarterly guide to all that's in store for pass holders in the next few months. It's a handy tool to help plan your next visit to Universal Orlando Resort. Within it, you'll find information on discounts, perks, giveaways, and more. It can be found over at universalorlando.com and downloaded to your mobile device.
Cool.
Chris, you need to put in a copyright claim against this next one.
I need royalties for this next one.
Ooh. The voodoo you do. Voodoo donut at Universal City Walk is sinfully delicious in every way. With a cult following, God, I said that right, and over 50 types of donuts served daily, it's no wonder it's become a pass holder pit stop after the parks. See, that was nearly... This is full of
You've been
hazards.
in lockdown too long.
I know. The best part, UOAPs get first dibs on select donut releases throughout the year. Upcoming seasonal offerings are the 30th Universal Studios Florida Celebration Donut, which is a yeast donut with a vanilla frosting and raspberry jelly filling, topped with the original park logo.
So that donut is pretty much, from what it sounds like the voodoo doll just in a different shape.
Yeah.
Which I love the voodoo doll, so I'd be all over that.
And it does look
It does look awesome.
bleeping
It's really cool.
amazing.
The time they have to take to do that's like,
I know.
wow.
I love that. Pass holder discounts are 15% for Premier and 10% for preferred pass holders.
Of course, it'll probably be my experience that I have every time trying to get one of the specialty voodoo donuts. They'll be like, what are you talking about? We've never done that before. You know what? And I'm like, it's in the case over here, this one? And they're like, no, I don't see anything in there. I don't know.
It's that weird thing that, like, my experience of voodoo donut, they've been all right, but I still love the fact that it's become a staple of Universal Orlando now. It's so ingrained in that resort by the fact that they do like the Universal specific orange sickle, and then they do like a Horror Nights one or a Mardi Gras one. I love that it's become part of the resort now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just in case you need an excuse to eat a donut, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd still rather have a
Matcha green tea puff.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, each to their own.
I know.
And next, our favorite restaurant, I think, consensus for the podcast. What's on the menu today? The Today Cafe at Universal Studios Florida has seasonal dishes inspired by a Today personality. The featured item is Al's Muffaletta Sandwich, which these are awesome at Mardi Gras, so I'm sure it's going to be great here. Shaved ham, salami, capicola, provolone on the cauliflower wrap with muffaletta, olive relish, toasted sweet peppers, and arugula, served toasted. Sounds awesome.
I gotta admit, that one doesn't do it for me.
It's the cauliflower
this
wrap.
Al's Muff sandwich?
Yeah. Too much meat for me. And arugula.
Traditionally, the meat part's pretty thin on the muffaletta sandwich, so I don't know how they'll do it with the wrap, but
Yeah.
it's more about like the olive relish and everything that's on there.
So I also don't like olives. I don't even know what capicola is.
I don't understand why it's in a cauliflower wrap.
Because it's fashionable. Could be worse. It could be an avocado wrap. Surprised it's not.
So our chance to show you the love. So every year we dedicated several days and nights to our UOAP family with tons of perks, discounts, and exclusive opportunities during Pass Holder Appreciation Days. Mark your calendars for Pass Holder Appreciation Days 2020. August 10th through September 30th. Some special things are coming your way, and we'll be sure to provide updates.
I know they posted something about, I think it was a UOAP private screening, I suppose you want to say, of Cinematic Celebration. And it was pretty much like sold out, obviously not buying tickets, but the tickets that are available were gone within, like a ridiculous amount of time.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, they're always, I like the Pass Holder Appreciation Days. They sometimes have some really cool things out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Take advantage of a couple of those, so.
Why not?
Yeah. Why not? Like we said it every time they come out with these. They don't have to do anything.
No.
And the fact that they put so much stuff out there is testament to how much they care about the pass holders now. Probably now more than ever, in honesty, because they know how much those pass holders are keeping them going right now.
Yeah.
Does the rat do a lot of these things too, or no?
No, not really. Apparently, from what I've heard over the last 10 years, they've taken away most of the perks of being a pass holder at Disney.
Ew.
Yeah. Man.
Pay us more, we give you less.
Sounds like a solid business plan to me.
Well, I like it, but yeah, no.
Yep. All right. Well, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Have you taken a stroll down Diagon Alley and visited Gringotts Bank? Taken a ride through New York with Jimmy Fallon? Visited the Truffalo Trees in Seuss Landing or hung out with a real-life Transformer? No? Then what are you waiting for? At Universal Orlando Resort, there truly is an option for everyone. Or if you're leaning a little more towards pixie dust rather than wands and potions, Disney destinations around the globe await your arrival. No matter the adventure, our sponsors have you covered. Be sure to let the experts at Mouse and Muggle Travel Company take care of all your travel needs, earning the distinction of being an earmarked agency specializing in Disney destinations, as well as becoming one of the first to be named a U Preferred agency with Universal Parks and Resorts Vacations. Mouse and Muggle Travel Company will ensure you receive top-rated customer service. Just visit mouseandmuggle.com to fill out a no-obligation quote request, or send your request to info@mouseandmuggle.com. Their team can take care of you no matter where in the world you want to go. With a flick of their wand and a little bit of pixie dust, the process will be so seamless, some might even say it's simply magical.
Welcome back. And following on from our bonus producers club roundtable, we want to welcome live from Universal Orlando.
Oh, he's not now.
Seth.
He was,
You
but
told
no,
me
he's
you
not.
told me we were going to go with the illusion.
Oh, that illusion.
Yeah.
Oh, that illusion. We didn't
What
know
illusion?
which
There's several.
illusion we
I
were
don't-
talking about.
I can make
Michael.
weird background noises.
Yeah, no, I mean, I literally just got back from Universal, but I don't want to fake. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could say, I don't know, I'm sitting in the bathroom or something.
Just say he smells like
I'm
Universal.
just-
He's just
if
fresh.
I'll have my wife cry and I'm going to just say it's Moaning Myrtle in the back.
Well, yes. Recently returned. Seth Kubersky.
All right.
Hey, Seth.
Seth, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Welcome back.
Oh my gosh, are we going to use that take? Or are we
Yes.
Yeah.
we are.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
boy. That's
Look.
people pay extra for that?
Yeah.
In a world where no one's got a sense of humor at the moment, we like to keep it a little lighthearted.
I love it. Yes, I'm literally straight from Universal Orlando. Drove back here. I was hoping to be able to give you a report from the 2:40 p.m. showing of the Bourne Stuntacular, which is in technical rehearsals today. Unfortunately, I was about 12 people from the door when they closed it.
Ugh.
Oh man.
But that show that I missed, I see on Twitter that it stopped halfway through for technical difficulties and they all got evacuated from the building. So I didn't miss that much.
That seems to have happened a lot over the last few days. I heard a few team members say it happened during team member previews as well.
So if you are looking to see Bourne this week, just observation, the first show this morning was a little before 11 a.m. The second show was right around noon, and then they took a lunch break. Those first two shows seem to have gone off pretty smoothly. The third show of the day is where the stuff hits the fan. And that seemed to have happened around the same time on Sunday, I believe. So if you're there to see Bourne, try to catch that first show of the day. Seems to be the most likely to be able to actually complete.
Okay. Seth, are you surprised that they've opened it now?
I'm not surprised. I mean, Universal kind of has a history of building things and then not opening them necessarily to get the most bang for their buck. Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket would be the best example. I'm sure that they're hoping to do some sort of grand opening push. They're very clear in saying that it is not officially open. This is a technical rehearsal. And to be, frank, the cast has been sitting at home for 3 months.
Yeah.
They need to run the show.
Yeah.
They need to rehearse. They need to just practice running it. And there's no reason to not let some audience in to see that, especially since the buzz for people who have seen the show has been really positive.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of negative reactions to the show yet. A few gripes here and there that the plot isn't all that deep, but I don't think most people go to stunt shows for the deep plot.
No.
And if there was a stunt show with a deep plot, it would by far be the first in Orlando.
Yes.
I mean, Indiana Jones is not exactly Shakespeare.
No.
And Sinbad, Sinbad wasn't even a soap opera.
No.
Much less Shakespeare. So as long as they can complete a few full sentences, I'm sure the plot will be just fine. And everyone's been raving about the stunts and the technology, especially the way they merged the real sets with the video projections.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting that they are performing it with masks on.
Yes.
From what I understand, the
Yeah, I've
stunt
heard that
actors
too.
are wearing masks. I guess they don't need to lip sync. I'm not sure about that, how that works exactly.
Well, if they do, that makes it
but-
easier.
Right. they could just project animated mouths.
They could.
They could just have neutral colored masks and then project flapping lips on top of it.
an option.
No, I've heard nothing but positive things for the most part, and I'm hoping that I get back there tomorrow or Wednesday to see it for myself.
Yes.
I think we all said the same when the sort of behind the scenes stuff came out a few months back, that we were all kind of like, I'm not really that bothered about it. And then you kind of saw little bits of it and went, oh my God, it actually looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because a lot of this same technology in this show, or very similar technology, I'll say, went into Run, which was Cirque du Soleil's newest show.
Okay.
The last show they opened and the last show that they closed out in Las Vegas. That got killed off even before the coronavirus. So it's interesting. I'll be interested to see, how long that the implementation here in Orlando can keep going and how consistent and reliable it can be in the long term.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see some video of it, and it's
You
very
shouldn't have.
Yeah, I know I shouldn't have, but sometimes things happen, and people do things that they shouldn't, and then some people see them before they get taken down.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yep, it's unfortunate.
I haven't watched it. I won't. I'm showing solidarity. I'm being a good boy.
And I really don't think it's probably the kind of show that's going to translate well to video. I mean, it's not 3D.
No, you have to have
but yeah,
understanding of how everything works to really get a grasp of what's happening from what I saw. But anyways, the technology, like I said, is awesome. It's like probably the first show where like possibly a tower, it could be down because a tower isn't moving right.
right.
And that's probably the first.
There's some really complicated machinery. T2, we just had a motorcycle. That was pretty much the big gag. And that motorcycle could, screw up the whole day if it was being finicky. A lot of the time there was no motorcycle because, it just wasn't cooperating. I don't know with this Bourne show how many of the elements that they can disable and still do the show. So if there's, some sort of major set piece that's automated and it's throwing sensor faults, which is very often happens when you have a new installation. It takes a little while to tweak all of the safety settings to make sure you're not getting false positives or false negatives on those sensors.
Yeah,
and
especially when it's relying on your stunt actors being right next to
Absolutely.
all this machinery.
Yeah. This is stuff that's got to go to the millimeter in order for no one to die. So I would rather them stop the show and dump it and try it another day than risk the safety of any of their actors, obviously.
Yeah.
But hopefully, Terminator, I worked on that show the first year it was open, and we had our share of downtime. But, as the years went on, it became actually more and more reliable, even if the picture quality kind of aged. Hopefully, now that everything is digital, that won't be a problem, that the show will stay looking as good as it is on day one years down the road.
Cool. I'm excited. I think it's good. The parks need another sit-down show. I think more so now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I saw a horror makeup show twice the other day just to have some air conditioning.
Yes.
And I love the show, but it's tough doing, today I got there for early entry, and it is tough doing 8 hours in the park with a mask on.
Yeah.
It's not impossible. Ask the people who play fur characters.
Yes.
They,
Yeah.
ask the guy playing Homer Simpson if he's really that concerned about my little cloth face mask, because he doesn't have a lot of sympathy.
Yeah.
Bart sure didn't.
Seth, do you have to keep your masks on when you're in the theatre?
Yes.
So
Yes.
even when you sat down, you still have to keep your mask on?
Yes.
I'd hope.
Oh yeah. The only exceptions to masks are restaurants, when you're actively eating and drinking, and on rides where you're going to get soaked. So Popeye, Jurassic Park,
Dudley.
Dudley.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah.
Well, the rest areas too, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. There are rest areas where you can go in. And you know what? I think the word is out that if you go to guest services, or I guess when you do the temperature check, you can talk to someone from health services. If you say you have a medical issue that prevents you from being able to wear a face mask, they will give you a wristband that exempts you from having to wear the
Yes.
face mask. Now, I'm not sure what medical issue exists that would exempt you from being able to wear a face mask, but at the same time, you aren't at greater risk by walking around not wearing a face mask.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which medical condition that is, but under things like ADA and HIPAA, obviously they're not allowed to ask you any details about your medical condition. So I will say that I saw a larger number of people today with those wristbands not wearing masks than I had before.
Yeah, when City Walk first opened, I was working with friend of the show, Connie, from the other annual pass holder group, and she was the one that told me about it. So we actually were putting a blog post up because we wanted people from a point of view of understanding that there are people that have those conditions,
Right.
to not wear masks, and to basically make people aware of it, so you didn't get people chastising people for not having a mask on. So there is
Sure.
a reason, because people will be aggressive to us. Why haven't you got your mask on? There is a reason why.
One may say it might not be the best environment for you to be in then in that situation.
No.
Right. And I will say that if you are in that situation and you have chosen to request one of those wristbands and go without a mask, then please, I think it's incumbent upon you to be extra careful
Yes.
about maintaining greater distance.
Yes,
That I will say that, while they may not have been a representative sample, the people who I ran into who were unmasked did not seem to be overly concerned about giving me a wide berth.
Right.
They made me do the hard work. So
It's been quite interesting because we've been watching a lot of vlogs lately of SeaWorld and Busch Gardens reopening. And it seems to be that as far as SeaWorld and Busch Gardens go, the amount of people just not giving a crap and not wearing masks seems to be way bigger than it is at Universal.
yeah, so I didn't go to SeaWorld yet. Partially because I've seen some of those scary photos and videos. I'll be frank though, no one video or photo can really represent or give you a full picture of
No,
what's
of course
going
not.
on. There were some photos and videos that came out over the weekend or right before the weekend that made Universal look pretty bad.
Yes.
And I was kind of surprised because I had spent several full days at the parks right before then and hadn't seen anything even close to that. And went back today, and in 8 hours there today, did not see anything even approaching that. I specifically went to some of the points that were trouble spots, like Hagrid.
Yeah.
And all the social distancing that I expected was going on. Granted, it was quiet in the park today. Saturday and Sunday were fairly busy. I understand that they hit their maximum capacity.
Do you know what that is, Seth?
Which they've said. Well, that's an excellent mystery. I've heard numbers ranging between 7,000 to 10,000 people per park.
What's normal capacity then, Seth?
So Universal obviously never really says what their actual capacity is. A really, really busy peak, Easter week or Christmas week day is up to 50,000 people per in the studios. Like studios can hold a few more people than IOA. But so like 50,000 people is about the max that you're going to squeeze in there. And your average medium, not off season, but also not peak holiday season, you're talking somewhere 25 to 30 people, maybe.
That's still a lot then.
That's your standard day. So you're kind of looking at they're running at about 1/3 of what they typically would for this season.
Yeah.
And I think 1/3 with the restrictions on rider capacity on the rides feels like a lot.
Yes.
Like, I'm looking at some of the wait times that exceeded an hour over the weekend. That didn't look all that much fun.
No, I've seen a lot of people complaining that they haven't even been able to get a virtual wait for Hagrid at all.
Yeah, and today, the opposite was kind of true. I wouldn't be surprised if between the two parks there were 5,000 or 6,000 people. I just know I did 5 entries today. I entered the studios 3 times and IOA 2 times through the front gates because I just didn't feel like waiting for the Hogwarts Express, and looped the park each time. And in all of those, I kept recognizing the same people over and over again. It's one of those days where there's so few people in the park.
Yes.
It's like, hey, I really like that shirt again. So, weekdays right now are a great time. I think weekends, maybe the annual pass holders are hearing how dead it is during the weekdays. And because the parks are closing early on the weekdays, 6 o'clock, you can't, go by in the evening like annual pass holders usually do during the summer. So I think that's why the weekends are probably fairly packed right now, relatively speaking. But today, pretty much everything was a walk-on. And I was able to get 2 virtual line passes. Oops. Virtual line passes for Hagrid's. Secret to Hagrid's, the first round are released at about 8:45.
Okay.
And if you miss that first batch, check back like every half hour. Roughly like a quarter past and 45 past, it seems like a new bunch comes out. It's not consistent, but the bigger problem is sometimes you'll see times on the app, and hitting them, you just get sorry, an error occurred, and it doesn't tell you what to do about the error. Basically, you got to close out the app entirely and reopen the app. Try it again. It happens way too often. Honestly, this whole social distancing is really stressing the features of Universal's app, and it's kind of been breaking down. If you want to get into mobile ordering, I could do a 20-minute set on that.
Wow.
But even with all the problems, I will say I was able to get 2 virtual lines today for Hagrid's before noon. And when the ride did go down, my second one converted automatically to a one-time use express pass, which was very generous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Overall, do you think they've handled it relatively well then, Seth? You've been a lot over the last week and a bit. Have you felt safe and comfortable being in the parks?
In terms of safe and comfortable, I mean, personally, I don't know I feel safe and comfortable anywhere on this planet at the moment.
True.
Except like literally in my own bed. If I've got the covers pulled up and my cat is there with me, then okay, I'm all right. Beyond that, I don't know what safe and comfortable is. My bench line is my local grocery store, which is pretty much the only place that I've been going on a regular basis for the last 3 months. And, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is I might as well be in a clean room at a university hospital, and 1 being I might as well be licking the gutters with my tongue. I'd say that my local grocery store hovers between a 4 and a 6, depending on who shows up any given day. And I'd say Universal has consistently felt to me somewhere 7, 8, times up to a 9.
Okay.
Comparing my Universal visits to my Disney visits, I still think Universal has had a slight edge. It's not to say that it's always perfect.
No.
Because people aren't perfect.
That's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Universal at least seems to be taking their own rules seriously enough that it's, kind of impacts the guest experience in a negative way, but you kind of got to understand.
Yeah.
I'll get back to the mobile order thing. all I wanted out of life was some coconut shrimp from Springfield Fast Food Boulevard.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of right before the kind of lunch hour starts. Yeah, I thought I was there early. There was no one waiting in line ahead of me to get a table. There's like 2 people in ahead of line to get a table. But the whole process for being waited to be, first you got to be seated at a table. Then you can use your mobile order. Then they have to come over and confirm your mobile order. Then you got to wait for them to bring your mobile order to you. So from me sitting down to me getting my food was almost 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And at which point I took about 5 minutes to eat my food, sprinted over to the Bourne show, and learned that I had been shut out of the show.
That seems to be Fast Food Boulevard, because Jack and Brittany, who joined me on the show at the bonus one we did last week, they said their only negative experience was at Fast Food Boulevard, and it took them an hour to get their food. But they also complained that they were hearing that because when they brought the food out, they were just kind of shouting, names out, Seth, Darren, or whatever, and they were giving the people on the next table were kind of like, "Oh, I'm really sorry, but we gave your food to somebody else, so we're now going to have to go and cook it."
No. So the part of the problem is that the mobile ordering system was designed for you to go to a designated window and pick it up. There's no system set up in the app to tell them where you are sitting.
Yes.
If they had just had a way to put a placard on your table, and when you fill out your mobile order, you put in your table number, and they at least know where you are.
Yeah.
There's no automated way to do that, and the chaos of them trying to figure out who is where, and that's just if you can get through the mobile ordering system. I watched a very high-level Universal executive fight with his mobile order sitting at a table next to me, trying for a good 10 minutes just to order lunch, and having a manager there walking through still, and this is someone who knows the place, knows the system, and so what chance does the average guest have? The mobile order system that's built into Disney's My Disney Experience is not perfect, but it's never failed me the way that Universal's system has. Other little problems with Universal system is that it does not have kids meals in there.
Oh.
It also, there's no way to indicate that you have an allergy. There's a couple side item things you can pick, but other than that, you can't put any notes to tell them to modify something or leave something off. And most importantly, it still doesn't accommodate any kind of discounts or dining plans. So if you want your annual pass discount, you literally have to eat your dinner, bring your receipt up to the cash register, and they will credit money back to your credit card.
Okay.
Which has to be the biggest waste of labor, plus credit card processing fees, because they're getting themselves charged an extra processing fee every time they do that, just because they've got my annual pass ID in the system. They've got my credit card in the system. They've got my food order in the system, but I guess their systems do not talk to each other.
No. Well, that's Universal all over, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, right hand meet left hand.
Exactly.
You guys don't know what each other are doing.
Not at all. Because that goes against Darren and I were talking about it earlier, that we'd heard, as far as the annual pass holder discounts were going, that they were actually giving you the difference back in cash.
I did hear that was happening, which blew my mind, because I thought what we were trying to do was get rid of cash.
Yeah.
There might be some venues where that's what they have to do. At Fast Food Boulevard, they were even able to use Tap to Pay. I could use Apple Pay to get a refund, which I've never actually done before. So that was interesting. But yeah, that's the one big sticking point. They're just on a basic IT level. God knows that My Disney Experience is not a bulletproof system, but Universal system seems to be coded by monkeys, and in terms of you put a infinite number of monkeys in a room with typewriters, and they come out with the works of Shakespeare. I think in the meantime they coded this app. just banging on keyboard.
Well, Lee, you have something else in the notes here.
Yeah, did you, Seth?
Yeah.
So it was Tracy brought it to my attention that she'd seen on, I think it was Facebook or Twitter or something at the weekend.
What about Twitter? I don't do that.
That Green Eggs and Ham caught fire on Saturday, was it?
Ooh,
I don't even know what
that's
date it is.
exciting.
Hear about that or not?
Sorry, I did not hear anything about that. I will have to look that up.
I was just wondering if it was still open or not.
I don't know how anything could catch fire over the
Grease.
weekend because it poured rain like all day, every day.
Grease fire in the kitchen, apparently.
Interesting. Well, I did walk around Green Eggs and Ham twice today, and it was open.
Okay.
And I did not see any scorch marks or smell any burnt ham. So
It was literally just a flash in the pan then.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
New flavor.
Yeah.
um,
Oh, that's a relief.
yeah.
I'm sure grease fire is a regular occurrence
no,
in a
I
place
did
where they make tater tots just constantly.
And-
Yeah.
and they did not seem to have mobile ordering at Green Eggs and Ham
Okay.
either. So if you want your Who hash in a can, you're going to have to stand and wait for it.
Seth, have you been to Volcano Bay at all since it had reopened then?
I have not stopped by there. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I have a pool in my backyard that I get in about 3 times a year.
Yeah.
I'm not a big swimmer. Just no one needs to see me in a bathing suit ever. So I will probably head out there this week and do a lap around there just to see.
Yeah.
I understand over the weekend they did hit their capacity, which frequently happens over the summer. Especially when it's a sunny morning. But I think it cleared out because of storms in the afternoon.
Volcano Bay seems to be a really weird one. I spoke to friend Maddie as part of that bonus episode, and she went for team member previews, and it's just everything that's been put in place as far as the theme parks just seems to be not at Volcano Bay because it's water based. So it's like you don't have to really have a mask on at any point. It just
Sure.
It's weird. Because you're still wandering around. You're still in near people. Yeah, it just
Right.
And water parks already seem like a cesspool to me.
yeah.
anyways.
Agreed.
So,
Right.
I don't know.
The good news is that at least according to the WHO and the CDC, that a properly maintained chlorinated or bromiated pool has an extremely low risk of viral transmission because it does not do well in that environment.
Yeah.
In theory, Tapu should be perfect for social distancing because you just know exactly how many people are in that queue and how much space is in between them, and you don't call people back until there's space for them to go. We know that Tapu, much like communism, works better in theory than in practice.
Oh, I love that, Seth.
I don't know exactly how you maintain social distance when you're in the lazy river.
No,
or,
exactly.
A fast-moving river. If someone gets banged up into you, they're there.
Yeah, you just yell 6 feet at them as they start to get near you.
You have to kick them
trying
away,
to
don't you?
battle as fast as they can.
Other than limiting capacity.
Yeah.
And we all know that Volcano Bay has kind of limited capacity already the way it's designed. They've taken out a bunch of lounge chairs. You can actually see them kind of all piled up backstage to give some more distancing in the beach areas, and taken some vests and rafts out of the lazy rivers to keep people from overcrowding there. But I guess they're just hoping that the chlorine beats virus like paper beats rock.
And you're going to want to go with a larger group too, because you're going to want to fill up the ride vehicles, because otherwise you're not going to be able to get on pretty much anything.
Yeah.
That does kind of make me sad. My two favorite raft rides there are the I guess it would be the Maku, or is it the Pui? No, Pui and Hanu, and I cannot go on either of those as a single rider.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a few attractions that you need a minimum amount of weight or minimum number of riders in order to balance the rafts, And boy, the parks are a sad place for a single rider like me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, Chris, you're the Volcano Bay person now of all of us. Would you go right now if you were heading up there?
I'd probably go to hang out by the pool. I don't know how much like slide riding I would do.
Yeah.
Just because my concern with kind of being in the lines, like I'm not even like that cool with going to Universal lines right now, even though you can, you're wearing masks, but over there, nobody's wearing masks in lines. So I don't know how they're handling all that.
Yeah, that's the weird
plus
thing.
I also read it's been hitting capacity almost every day. So, I don't know how much they're limiting capacity, how it feels inside the park over there. But if I'm hanging out
my understanding is that the capacity cap is 1/3 of what they would normally do. And what they would normally do is also a highly debated number, but it's somewhere around 10,000.
That seems
Maybe
a lot
a
for
little
that
below.
park. Wow.
yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is
Wow.
because it's only small,
So-
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that, like, I know we talked there about how because of the chlorine and stuff in the water, that's fine. But the fact that you don't have to wear a mask when you're just wandering around between rides as well, it goes against everything you're being told at the moment.
My understanding is that the masks are required in shops, restaurants, and bathrooms, indoor areas like that. The thinking is that it's hard to require someone to wear a mask when going, like, say, from their lounge chair to the slide, because then what do they do to that with that mask once they are on the slide?
Yeah. Just carry
Just
it.
waterboard yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everything that we've seen is that wearing masks is better than no masks for protecting other people around you.
Yeah.
But they're especially needed when you have indoor queues and when there's air conditioning involved.
Okay.
And I think the logic is that a place like Volcano Bay, which is 99% outdoors, that there's less chance of transmission under those circumstances.
Yeah, and that's a good point you bring up, Seth, because I mean the CDC has recognized that outside wind interference with concentration of aerosol, air droplets, that kind of stuff, it really does make a big difference there. I guess the biggest thing for me is how well it goes back to the original thing of people, right?
Yes.
How well are people respecting the distance between me? I hope it's something they're doing right, but like I said, it'd be weird. I don't know. I'd have to see.
Yeah,
Darren's
I kind of wish that I understand from a business perspective, you're going to rely on annual pass holders to spend money inside the gates right now to keep the engine churning. But I kind of wish that they had given people the option of not having their annual pass reactivate until they made their first visit.
Yeah.
Rather than everyone's fuse, burning as of June 5th.
Yeah.
Especially, Universal, it's not quite so bad because you're not under a circumstance where you've got to make reservations or whatever. But when Disney reopens, especially at Disneyland, where they've said they're not just not selling new tickets, but they're not renewing annual passes. I really wish they had given us a way, just let people delay a month or whatever. Put it off. Put that on the back end of their pass. So that people who were sort of like you, were sort of on the fence, they're like, I think Universal's doing a great job, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't really feel safe. Why make them feel the extra pressure of having their annual pass burning away on them?
Because I'm sure a lot of people aren't going, not because what Universal are doing, because of kind of what we've talked about on the show for quite a while, about worrying about how other people are going to conduct themselves when they're there.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish they would do that, because I mean, then I feel pressure of, I paid for this. Now it's just kind of burning away, because I would be over there right now. Like on any other given circumstances, I would be there very frequently.
Yeah.
But now I'm hesitant to go out and do it. I'm not saying I won't, but if I was able to say, hey, put a pause until December or whatever, if I'm seeing numbers go down, whatever, and I feel comfortable, then that would be such a nicer option for us, especially because it's paid for. We didn't expect this to happen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it's the same from our point of view that, if our trip in October doesn't go ahead, we're not going to have been able to use our annual passes like we would have been able to use them this year. And that's something, if that happens, if we can't travel because of travel restrictions or whatever it is, I'm considering getting in touch and just saying, look, we can't use our passes because of this. Is there anything you can do?
That's a very unique situation, though. I feel like a lot more people will be affected by that. I wonder if they would make exceptions for people out of the country. If you technically cannot fly here, what happens?
Yeah. I mean, they've sold you a product that the government is saying you are incapable of using.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm not being awkward or whatever, but you know, it's we were expecting when we got our annual passes last year, it would have run through October last year, February this year, and then it should have run out before we come over this year. But then obviously with the closure, they've said they'll extend it by that number of days, which would have then ended up including this October, which we don't know at this point whether we're going to be able to come or not.
Right. Well, they will happily sell you and other UK residents a frequent fear pass.
Yes, they will, and I almost
frequent
bought
fear
them.
plus, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen a frequent fear.
I was about that close. If people can't see, it's incredibly close to actually buying them before all this happened, and I didn't. But yeah, they've been available for quite some time now.
I don't know.
But from what we can see...
Maybe they will only have Halloween Horror Nights in the UK this year.
That would be cool. Yeah. But it looks like for everything we're hearing, Seth, and everything that seems to be being posted everywhere, it looks like it's going ahead as of now.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They've had auditions, internal auditions, virtual so far, but they're working on casting. And I know people who are, building props, building sets, working on... If they are sure acting like there's going to be a Halloween Horror Nights. So if they're just faking it, they're spending an awful lot of money on something that's not
Maybe
happening.
It's just blind optimism.
I think they have to, don't they? I think they have to be.
I think it's realism in the state of Florida that we will keep pushing forward. We will never go back, whether we should or not. It's like a man asking for directions when he's lost. It's like, we've just decided we're driving down this highway, and there's no stopping at a gas station.
I'm saying nothing.
Making a U-turn.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The easiest year for scare actors ever. They just have to get anywhere near approaching you.
Yeah.
And I am terrified.
All they have to do is cough.
Yeah.
The scare actors will just all be in street clothes, no makeup, all this.
I just want 2020 themed houses. I want killer hornets.
Oh man,
Tiger King.
With the street clothes, I just thought eventually they could just only have scare actors for the first week, and then after that, they don't even need them anymore.
Yeah.
It'll just be everyone against everyone else.
Everyone's just staring at everybody awkwardly.
A McMillian's house. Yeah, a COVID house. It'd be so... Yeah, it's this thing at the moment. If it goes ahead and we're not there, I'm kind of 50-50 on it, because it's like, it's not going to be what I want it to be, but obviously covering the resort like we do, to actually go there and see what this year is going to be like would be such a unique experience.
Yeah. Well, having it approach the more theatrical end is actually kind of a benefit in my eyes.
Agreed. Yeah, because you're the same.
I don't really
we're
get
all the
scared
same.
anymore.
No.
So.
All four of us are the same. From last year, we walked through every house, me, Chris, Darren, Tracy, like we had our eyes closed and earplugs in, because the scare actors must have been like, who the hell are these guys? What is the point?
Yeah. I appreciate it for what it is.
Yes.
I actually, after all these years, obviously I don't get scared. And, I know the people who put it together, I have nothing but respect for their artistic work, but I am at this point more fascinated with it in terms of crowd management and crowd flow.
Okay.
If they can use this as an opportunity to say, what we've been doing for the last 5 years, it's successful financially, but it just doesn't work from an operational, it's a bad experience, for the average person. How can we completely break this down, completely rethink? How can we create a Halloween Horror Nights without the traditional conga lines and the queues and the, completely reimagine this experience? If they really do that and they can make it work, this could be great. It could be one of the best Horror Nights ever. If they try something half-baked and they don't put the resources behind making it work properly, it could be a total nightmare.
So what you do is you
That's
get
the
rid
thing
of
this
normal
year.
day tickets and you make everything RIP based. So that every group going through is a private group. And then you just have...
Yeah, I think everyone has to have an itinerary. I think everyone has to be scheduled.
Yeah.
And the idea of just wandering around and deciding I'm going to get in line for this house is kind of done. It's
It's fascinating from an outside point. Just to we talked about it a little bit before, just to look what a Horror Nights looks like during this thing. And I wouldn't like to think I was trying to organise it to keep people safe, but also trying to make your premiere event what it is every year.
It's difficult. And we've even talked about it. I'd be so interested to see, when all this is said and done, like what sticks in the parks from the current changes they've made now, what they're going to do for Horror Nights. What does that look like next year and beyond after, this pandemic is gone, right?
You just make the overall theme. You make the overall theme of Horror Nights 13 ghosts, and then you can have glass panels between everyone. You don't have to worry about it at all, and they shift on top of that, so even better. Well, we're going to keep you in your box all the way through.
Cube. The whole park is Cube. Everyone gets their own little box.
Awesome. All right. Well, we've been going a while here, so I think it's about time to wrap things up. That'll do it for another episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, of course. Thanks again to Seth for coming on.
Thanks, Seth.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's
Of
awesome.
course.
Awesome as always.
Seth, is there anywhere where they could find you other than here, maybe?
Gee, well, if they wanted, they could go to theunofficialguides.com where you can purchase copies of my books. And you can also follow me on Twitter at theUGSeries.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll wrap up this episode as we do every episode, and that's with another Universal Is. And this one comes from Barry Walsh. If you want to be involved, just send us what you think Universal is in 3 words or less to podcast@uuopodcast.com. And Barry says Universal is my happy place. See you next week.
Guess that wraps things up for another Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. You guys did all right. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest, keyword UUO Podcast. Listen and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or anywhere podcasts are found. You can find our blog at uuopodcast.com. Send us your spews, which Lou gets your poo recordings, questions, or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Check out our friends the Theme Park Duo and our awesome sponsors Mouse and Muggle Travel Company. So, until next time, don't give up your day job, say cheese, and see you later.